What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to LIFG, and today we're going to be continuing with our puzzles quest here, quote unquote, an internal card game. So we've moved on past the battle skill puzzles to silence. So let's start with bronze. This snow is building up fast, better win on your turn. Okay, so opponents at 8, they permafrost our 6-5, and they're going to drop us to 1 because we will not block here. We're going to need this. So what we're going to do here is Hero of the People gets +1/+1 for basically whenever you play another unit, she gets their battle skill, and then she gets +1/+1 for each battle skill she has. So we're going to play Enforcer to silence our 6-5, which already had no abilities. It's going to get rid of the permafrost. It's also going to give her flying and +1/+1. So 6 and 2 is 8. Nothing else really got us out of it. If we played this and killed that, we could have attacked for 7. 7's not 8. If we played this, we could have given her +2/+2. Still would not have been 8, neither would this. Alright, let's move on to silver. Find a way through all those units and win this turn. Most times that thing's just saying win in your turn, but sometimes it's actually quite crucial. I wouldn't say crucial, but it's important to read it properly sometimes. Sometimes it lets you know that something's going to happen during combat. So keep that in mind. Okay, so we just need to get rid of all these units. And we have a plethora of removal spells in our hand. Suffocate right now only hits this, which does us no good because Temper also kills this. Bring Down also kills this. Purify also kills this. It's being able to kill the other two, right? Spirit Drain kills any unit on the field, but if we play Spirit Drain, we can only play Temper or Suffocate with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to Purify this, 4/3, and the reason being it has 4 toughness, which is actually going to be pretty relevant here. We're going to Temper this. Bring Down silences an enemy unit. If it has flying, it kills it, but that's not relevant to what we're going for. We silence this, it becomes its base 3/3, which means it dies to Suffocate. So the reason why we used Purify on the 4/3 is because there was no situation where we could suffocate that. This, however, we can suffocate once all the buffs are gone, and then we're free to attack for lethal. Alright, let's move on to gold. Win the game over your next 2 turns. So we don't need to just win on our turn right now. We gotta survive and then win. Okay, it's very important not to overthink some of these hands sometimes. First thing you want to notice here is that Brimstone Altar is on the field. So if our opponent has any unit in play on their turn, we're going to die. Next thing to note is they also have 18 power. So for example, if we go Praxis Displacer and bounce this, which it would have to be this, he can replay it next turn, right? Even if we go, we want this to be the card that stays alive because he's going to have to sack it to itself on his turn. So that's the best way to do it. So yeah, if we go Praxis Displacer on this, he gets to play it next turn and attack for lethal. Reason being is we have no way of doing anything else to it. So the line we're going to take is pretty straightforward. We're going to Vara's Choice this. So we remove charge off the card completely. And then we're actually going to play Time Weaver. So when you summon Time Weaver, double the cost of a card in the enemy hand. And the reason we're going to be doing that is again, they have Brimstone Altar. So if they can recast that unit, they're gonna kill us. They're gonna sack it for 2 damage. So let's go that. They can't play Decimate. They have no fire sigils at all. So let's double this to 20. They can't cast that. We attack for 5, unblockable. We have 8 on board, and we just pass it back. This has to sacrifice something to itself, so he can't sack that to altar. All he can do is play the power he drew, pass it back, and we just ace space. They gave you a hand that makes it very, very easy to overthink. So I mean, for example, you could have killed that unit, but that wouldn't save us, right? He'd get a blocker out of it, and then we would just die, but we wouldn't have enough damage. Anyways, moving on to Diamond. Let's move on from that. Win on your turn before that dragon attacks again. That's nice. Now, looking at the avatar, you assume this is the dragon it would be, but it's actually not that dragon at all. It's my dragon. So that puts us to 1. This is permafrost, which means that's pretty useless to us. So the line we're going to be taking here is to get this to 8 power. It says when you gain health, he gets that much power, right? So that's the line we're going to be taking. So first thing we're going to do is, this is useless to us like this. So let's kill it. Second thing we're going to do is play Shepherd's Horn. Shepherd's Horn says when you play a card with Overwhelm, you gain 3 health. There was already a Dawnwalker in our yard, and we put 1 more in there. So if we can play something big enough to get them back, he's going to get plus 6 power. So that's the line we're going to be taking. We can't play this. If we play this, this dies, and we can't win. So we cannot play that. We can, however, play Ian. And I'm sure you see where this is going at this point. We're going to use Herald's Song to draw a card. We're going to pitch Spirit of Resistance. We just so happen to have exactly 9 power left. Ian's ultimate costs 9. And we're going to bring back Spirit with no ability, no text, which is exactly what we want. We do not want it to kill everything. And that triggers both Dawnwalkers. Both Dawnwalkers trigger Shepherd's Horn. And Shepherd Horn triggers into the Cabal Slasher. So he's up to 8 power now. And we can swing for lethal. Just make sure you sequence that right and do not cast Spirit of Resistance. If you cast it from your hand, you're just going to lose. Alright, so we're on to Master. Right? Yeah, we're on to Master. That was Diamond before. So this is what I mean. Timing is everything. Win this turn. This is basically a hint, saying you're going to have to do something in combat. So our opponent's at 6. We have a 5-3. And I always forget this does not have Overwhelm, which is why I had to do this twice, because I always keep thinking this has Overwhelm. It does not. Anyways, we have a 4-4 with Overwhelm and a 5-3 flyer. We only have 3 power, which is a big part of what's wrong with our hand. So what we're going to do is use Silence on this. That guarantees that we get 5 damage through unless they have a torch. And we're going to attack. What we do next is going to happen in combat, because they obviously have a trick and we want to see what it is. Because right now this is 5, and even if they team block, 1 Overwhelm goes through, and that's 6. So let's see what they have. Okay, that's the only trick they have. So if I use this now, it's still just gonna be a 2-2 that gets double damage and lifesteal. So we let that part resolve, and then we silence it. And that's a nice, easy lethal right there. So that wraps up the silence puzzle, and I will see you guys in the next one. I'm kind of doubling up on these. I'm trying to do 2 a day for this week, and we'll see where we get from there.